Yo, what's up? Good morning, good morning. We're in the middle of trying out or developing our own creature generation system using Unity Graph Toolkit. And I think it's been going pretty good so far. And today we're gonna see if we can implement the converter, so from editor graph to runtime graph. So I'm still wondering if we want to go this route. But we're going to start by implementing this one, and then we'll see if we might dive into this as well. So I already began with this one and did a to runtime node here. What we noticed though is that I'm a little bit afraid for when, let's see here. If we have something like this, when we convert this to a runtime graph, we don't want to generate two versions of this one. We just want to make it as one. So we're gonna have to, I'm thinking of I think what we're gonna do is let's just build up some real quick here, a graph we can work with. Really? Okay, I get an error when I try to save. That's not very good. Or not when I try to save, when I try to duplicate this one. Okay, one of the backsides with an experimental package, I assume. Set mesh editor node. Okay, like this. Let's say that we have something like this. So I think the idea when we convert it is we're gonna start with the exit node. So we're gonna mark some of the nodes as exit nodes, and then we're gonna walk backwards. And we're gonna have a dictionary where we have the editor node is the key, and the runtime node is the value. So we take this one, convert it to a runtime node, then we go to its input, travel backwards, take this one, convert it to a runtime node, and so on. And before we convert it to a runtime node, we check in the dictionary if this one already has. A runtime node pair. If it does, we just fetch it instead of recreate it. Yeah, I think we can begin with something like that. I want to do something like this, I wonder. Way our runtime nodes are set up currently is we have some node rules, output rules. Probably gonna rename it. It's probably something like I think we want to use this. I always forget what the name of it. Generic type. I wonder if we want to define our nodes in runtime with generic type instead. Much like, yeah, probably. Much like you have Unity events or something like that. how the hell would that look with our... Because I'm a little... What I'm thinking about, or what bothers me, is that how we should like connect the runtime nodes. This one want to be connected with something that implements output game object, or something that outputs game object and something that outputs mesh. Yeah, we can do a lot of casting, but there probably exists a better way. Okay, let's see if we can get something working first, and then we can make it a little bit nicer eventually. So let's do... I want to have a proper example here. So this one we're going to remove. This one as well. And we're going to generate a cube with a size of 1. So we generate a cube. We convert it to a mesh. We generate an empty game object. We add this mesh to it, and we also want to add space. Okay. Set material node. And material instantiator. Okay, like this. We generate a cube, 1 time 1 time 1, empty game object, add the mesh, add the material, prototype cell shading gray, and then make it into a creature. Okay. Let's see if we can properly convert this to a runtime graph and run it. So I'm gonna add a... I'm gonna wait with this. We can clean it up eventually. So creature generation graph importer. I don't want to name it that actually. So let's see here. Editor nodes test. Let's do... editor to run. Yeah, I think we're gonna do editor graph exporter or converter exporter. the better name, honestly. Okay, let's see now. We want to do scripted importer. Okay. The asset file itself is problematic. But yeah, let's do something like this as well. I might want to grab the method first. Get nodes of type start node, and then they go from that. What's up, Bruneko? Get the first start node. Yeah, we don't want to do start node. We want to have end node. I think we're always going to have creatures as our end nodes. Or we're going to have creatures going to be our end node. Now, what is this? Are we already... Is shit always or already starting to break here? What the fuck? Thought we had a... We had a set material node, that's for sure. Yeah, maybe I just forgot to save it, that's true. Gotta make sure. Yo, what's up, Apukas? What up, what up? I don't know what YouTube did, but currently they show YouTube user IDs instead of display names, I think, for some reason in chat. Just a note, just a note. Okay, this, oh yeah, we changed this one to cube as well, with a size of 1 like this. And then let's save it. Okay. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna make these to be our end nodes always. Because after this point, we always get a creature. But later on, we're actually gonna generate a lot of attributes to the creature and stuff like that here. This is temporary, but like we need one node to be our exit node. Pukas Google broke it again, as usual with their shenanigans. Yeah, it's unfortunate. And we just have to live in their world, pretty much. I'm gonna log an error here because I don't do this. So we don't want to find our start node. Instead, we want to find our end node, which is going to be a game object to creature editor node. I wonder, my IDE is not highlighting properly either. I wonder if it has to do with this editor here. Ah, fuck it. Game object to creature editor node, end node, graph get nodes of type first or default. This one we might... Apukas, what are you currently doing? I saw some graph logic creating. Yeah, exactly. We're experimenting with Unity graph toolkit, because I want to, like, this is pretty much how I want to define how creatures look and what attributes they have. So when we define the visuals of a creature, or the visual variation of a creature, we're going to do it in a graph like this. So in this very simple example, we define a creature that is a cube, 1 times 1 times 1, and then we just build it here. So a dynamic mesh, we convert it to a mesh, instantiate the game object, add the mesh to the game object, add a material, and then we add a creature component to it. So yeah, trying to implement a visual way to define creatures pretty much. Because the current, so I want to put them side by side. Yeah, it's actually pretty fucking cool, and it has been way smoother than I anticipated. So this is how we have defined creatures, how creatures look visually previously. So we have it here in a list-like form like this, and this might work for very basic creatures that doesn't have too much logic to them. But I mean, even with this Sten creature, it's still pretty plottery and hard to follow. If we instead define Sten as this, it's much, much easier. But we have some big problems to solve on the road, but we'll get to them, we will get to them. Okay, build the runtime asset by walking the graph and adding the relevant nodes. Scriptable object, yeah, we need one of these as well, but that's okay. Get next node. Oops. Yeah, it's how we're gonna pair the output and input in our runtime model. We'll see. We'll do some casting for now. Let's see. We want to create a runtime asset. Did I create this generation runtime node? No, I don't think so. Right. Okay, let's see. Creature generation runtime graph. Okay. Okay. So what I want to do here as well, okay, we have created this one. So I think we're going to do an approach where we go create the dictionary, and it's going to be it's gonna be creature, it's called generation editor node. Is that actually what we called it? Okay, and then we're gonna have generation runtime node. Generation 2 runtime nodes. Does this make any sense? Oops. Maybe. And we have our end node here as well. Okay. So I guess something we want to do is we can do this as a sort of fill. So we have this one, generation to runtime nodes, and then we have a list. Generation editor node. Why does it work here? Why does the code get highlighted the correct way here, but not here? Extremely frustrating. Unvisited editor nodes is equal to new end node. Like this. And now we have these, and I'm wondering if we are gonna do while yeah, we can do while, right? While unvisited editor nodes is empty. Don't we have... Okay, let's do count. One sec though, we don't want this as a list, we want it as a stack or something, right? Pop, 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 pop. Q maybe. We can actually Q, and Q. And it's just the Q and NQ. The Q and Q. The Q and Q. Okay. Generation editor node. All of our nodes aren't subclasses of this one just yet, though. But they are of node, actually. So we're going to begin. We haven't introduced this one yet, generation editor node. So I'm just going to change this one to node. And then we do change node to generation editor node. Eventually. Question mark. Why does my VS Code break here in these files? It's so weird. See if we can get a quick answer to that one. Unvisited editor nodes, the queue. Okay. What we want to do then is you know what? Yeah. I wonder if we want to make the assumption that if we want to do if node or if generation to runtime nodes dot contains node continue. If not, convert node to runtime node. Add previous or add input nodes to visited editor nodes. I wonder if we want to check these here as well. Maybe. If not contained in generation to run time nodes. So with the Q node, convert it to a runtime node, add it to the dictionary, unless it already is there. And then we go take its inputs and add them to the queue. So eventually, like, it would be very nice to have something like this. I think we're gonna do it like this, actually. The more I think about it, the better it feels, because... Good morning, Harukanen. Most of these nodes currently don't have that many options. But this one, for instance, has a lot of options. Or not a lot, but 3. We actually have more here. To runtime node, I think we're gonna add this one actually. Although I wonder, when do we want to set this? Or would it be smarter to go the other direction, so we start with these nodes and go forward instead? Maybe. Yeah, it's much better to go forward, I think. But we're gonna have to define our start nodes then. Like, I'm wondering if we could take, so we take this graph, we have 3 start nodes, and then we just take one of them and we start. So convert this one to runtime, go follow the output, we get to this node, convert it to runtime, follow its output, get to this one, convert it to runtime, and then we do that all the way to until we get here. And then we take this one, for instance, and we do the same until we get to a node that is already instantiated. When we get to one of those, we just stop, right? Because then we have already... I think so. Maybe. But, with the current runtime implementation, for us to be able to add these properly, we're going to need to know the type of this node and the input node. Yo, what's up, Omar? Appreciate it. So how can we do that? think I like this going backwards and forwards the best. But let's see that. What I'm wondering is, we instantiate this one, we make it into runtime, and then we follow the editor graph, and we get to this node, and we check, oh, we already instantiated one of these nodes. So then we want to fetch it. Do we want to cast it as well? Or do we want to create a solution much like this? Yeah, what the fuck, maybe it's just better to do... That feels a little bit weird as well. What if our generation runtime nodes has functions public, but not with caps, public t try get value. Do it like this. Do we need to do... But then we would like our nodes to have multiple... What would be the best way for these nodes to communicate with each other? This messes it... This doesn't really work with what we're doing now when we're doing the conversion. We don't have this one anymore, for fuck's sake. Yo, what's up, Derek? Oh fuck, I fucked up, right, yeah. Now we don't have it anymore. Hmm. So if we had something like this, and we just have a list of inputs, and then we do try get. If we don't get it, we try the next input. If we don't get it, we try the next. If we can't get it from any, then something is wrong. But what the fuck do we do? Yeah, with nodes that a node is always just gonna output one thing. Nah, that's not entirely true either. Basically, I'm wondering if a solution where, yeah, I want to have a function where we can return whatever, pretty much. Object, I guess, and then we can cast it. That's one way to do it. Yeah, I want to do this, I think. Can't we do something like this? Public abstract. Actually, let's take this one. Let's try and implement it in set mesh. Now we do. And then we do. Okay, so set mesh runtime node. This one should output a game object. We have it like this previously. So instead we do. Can we do if value is object? Or can we check T at runtime? How do we check? Yes. If type of T type of, I'm gonna do it like this instead. Maybe this is better. If this is true, then we do value is equal to yeah, so it's input, like the game object we want to return is the input here. Let's just do it like this then. Are we gonna have to? I'm out on thin ice here. No. Yo, what's up, Spires? Thank you for the raid, appreciate it. Sorry for the late response. Happy Monday, happy Monday. If we can get something like this to work, I think that's the better option. Wouldn't be too costly at runtime either, right? Now we just need to be able to... I want it of the type if it's successful or not, because we always want to check this. We're gonna return true here. And I also wonder, when we do this, when we have a node, with multiple outputs. Or actually, can we do... Okay. How the hell do you solve this if you want something like this? E value, try get value. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. No. How would we go about doing this? Could we seriously do... Can we do it like this? So by doing this, we know that t is, it's a game object we're asking for. We have our value here, which is t, use of yeah. Can't we do, we'll do new game object. Why can't I do this? Oh, yeah. So if we first cast it to object and then to t. But what the fuck? Yeah, what do we do here then? But maybe it's better if, can we do ref t? Ref. Yeah, but then if we do ref, yeah, we're probably never gonna have any string or int or floats. It's always gonna be reference values. Is this better? So try get output t ref t value if type of t is equal to, yeah, we know like this one should output game object and nothing else. What do you think? Is this, feels a little bit dirty because we're casting it to an object and then we're casting it back to a game object. It's weird, isn't it? Input game object dot game object. But if we do something like this instead of having to define it like this, it's much better. It's gonna work way better when we convert it to a runtime graph as well. So I think we're gonna go with this. Is it stupid? I don't know. So that means that use a boil. Oops, wrong class. Try get output. And then we override it here. So this one can only return game object. And then I think private game object generate game object output. Or maybe just... I want an easy way to figure out... what what type a node outputs. Pretty fucking straightforward here, actually. Maybe we can just define it like this. Try get output. Oh, maybe we can do something very nice here. Try get output. But then we have nodes that are going to be able to output multiple stuff. And let's just do it like this. Generate game object output. Okay, now we're reworking this one quite a bit. So creature generation runtime, not graph. I always get back to this one. Creature generation runtime node, or just generation node, is gonna have a protected list. Do I want circular dependency for my nodes, or do we just want to do a feed forward? Like, should a node keep track of what it outputs to as well as what it inputs to? Maybe. List generation runtime node outputs. Protected list inputs. Public void add input. But yeah, we might want to check. Yes. Maybe we want to make these abstract. Or actually, no, not this one. But we want to make them return bool, maybe. Then we're gonna have two abstract methods, which are public abstract bool and output. As, or yeah, can we do this? Can output, can input. Can input. Oops. No, 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 no. We don't. I don't think we want to send in type here. No, we don't. We is compatible with and generation runtime node. Hell yeah. Then we still want these, I think. Then we're gonna have a public abstract tool is compatible with node. But we want to know it's compatible with input. It's compatible with output, I guess. Maybe we don't need these. Try get output. If we're just gonna check if not compatible with false. Otherwise, yo, what's up, Antonino? Okay, it's starting to make sense. Slowly. Return true. And then we do the same here. Antonino, how is your day going? It's getting brighter and better by the minute. How about you? Hope you had a wonderful weekend, man. Here we go. Add input, add output, and then we have these methods. We're gonna have to, I think this is what we want to do. And yeah, this one is probably gonna look a little bit rough, but I think that's way better than whatever the hell this was. Yeah, so let's implement some methods. Let's see how it looks. Although I wonder, try get output. Try get output. And then I want to have a protected abstract. It's a little bit weird to have protected. I just want to make sure. Can we make this one private even? I just want to make sure that every derived class of this one implements this one as well. Let's see what we can do. So set mesh runtime. Um, Antonina, it was a hell of a weekend in a positive meaning, I hope. Or in a positive way, I hope. Is compatible with input node. And then what I want to check here then is what sucks is that it would be nice to just return a variable that returns outputs or inputs or whatever. Is compatible with input. So this one takes a, here we just return if node can output game object, or node.can output mesh. This allows for Antonino, nope, negative. Fuck man, sorry to hear, sorry to hear. Hope it wasn't too bad. Oh fuck. Yeah. Isn't it like this? I want to do it, yeah, and we want to override it. Okay, I just... one sec. Do we need to send in anything here? Am I... Can we do it like this? Is this a stupid way to do it? I think it looks pretty nice, doesn't it? I'm still a little bit worried. Is compatible with output. So here we just check can input, and this one returns a game object. Is this a weird way to do it? Second guessing myself at every step. I think it's pretty cool, actually. So what was my idea with these? Oh yeah. If return this or can input, yeah, we need game object and mesh. Antonin, I hope this week goes well. I missed that as well. Yeah. Me too. Override. Yeah, and it just returns a game object like this. Try get output, we just do it like this, but fuck. Try get output. Yeah, here we want to do some cool stuff. Yeah, so for this one, I think we just want to do this. Let's see here. Try get output. Now we do private game object generate output. And we're gonna generate our output like this. Yeah, so here, game object, here we want to call try get input game object. Do they mean we don't need this one? If game object return generate output. So try get output, generate output. Try get output, generate output, and output we generated by try getting the input game object. And we also want to get, don't we want to get, yeah, we want to get the mesh as well. Input mesh here. Yo, what's up, Kevin? Quillibith. What a hard to pronounce name. I would really like to know your demographics. Do you have the data? I'm asking because since you're from Sweden and doing a YouTube channel in English, to what degree YouTube promotes the channel? Send me a message on Discord and I might be able to answer a few questions. The stats I have available, or to the extent that YouTube allows it, so to speak. But YouTube has pretty good, they give you pretty good stats. Different ages, gender as well, if you want to know. So yeah, the stats exists. I think you can do some pretty straightforward Googling as well. Find similar channels and what kind of demographics they have. This is not that unique. But okay, let's see here. Generate output. Try get input. Yeah, okay. Game object null. Return. You know what? Fuck, we should do try get input. This one returns. What am I doing? We just do this. Fucking hell. Try get input game object. Otherwise we just return it. And I want to have mesh. Mesh is equal to null. And here we do if try get input mesh ref mesh return game object. Try get input, and here we're gonna do for each generation runtime node in inputs. If node.try get output t, can we do t here? Value return value. Return true. Right, this is pretty nice. Right. But like this one is generic enough that we can what the fuck, this one is generic enough, this one is generic enough. This one is generic enough. I think we can put these two and these two in generation runtime node. And we can just make this one return. Maybe not this one. But this one, we don't, yeah, we just send it onwards, try get output. Can we seriously skip this one here? Generate output, this one. No, I think we're gonna leave this one here. And this one and this one as well. But these two is compatible with input. Let's leave it like this. Set material runtime node is compatible with input. We need game object and we need material. Is compatible with output. Yeah, game object. Can input game object material. Can output game object. Okay. Try get output. Generate output. Mm. Input material. Input material. I'm wondering. Yeah, right now we have a instantiate material node. Wonder if that's a little bit over the top. Probably not. Let's keep it. So try get input. Material. We get skin mesh renderer, then we get mesh renderer. Oh, one sec. Try get input if this one, if it fails, otherwise we continue. Same here if it fails, or if it fails. Skinned mesh renderer, set material, and then we return object. If we don't have a skin mesh renderer, we do mesh renderer. If we don't have it, we add it, and then we set the material, and then we return the game object. Generate output. Okay, beautiful. I think that's it for this one as well. Antonino, maybe someone on chat can help me. I'm working on a site and I need some OCR functions. Do you know some good libraries? Fucking hell, it was ages since I worked with OCR, but back then OpenCV was still like the go-to library for stuff like that. Probably exists way more options this time around. Okay, we have some error here. Have I forgotten? Antonino, no problem. But then again, it's like old information. I don't know how relevant it is these days. This was back in 2016, 17, 18 maybe. Fucking hell, ages ago. Yes. Okay. Set material runtime node done. Okay, I think I like this way better than I previously did. Okay, let's see. Material instantiator runtime node. Generation. Okay, so this one is a special node. Instantiators and generators are a little bit special. They don't have any input, or is compatible with input is always going to return false. I wonder if we want to do something like this here. Public abstract bool. Or let's do virtual bool. Is start node. Oops. Return false. But no. I think we're gonna do it like this. Public bool is start node. Return inputs.count is equal to 0. Because if we are going to be able to have nodes that can have inputs, but we should also be able to have them as instantiation nodes, like Dynamic Mesh Generator, for instance. This one is going to be a start node sometimes. Let's see if I can show it. I don't know if we have some compilation. Yeah. Dynamic Mesh Generator editor node. We have some settings here, and depending on our settings, we get these two inputs, but sometimes we don't want inputs to control these. We want to control them here. So if we don't have any input, then it's going to be a start node, otherwise not, right? Antonino, I need to get the name and surname from IDs. The problem is always the photo they submit. I like the quality of it. In fact, there should be, I remember back 2016, there existed some pretty good plug and play OCR libraries. I think OpenCV actually had one. Pretty simple. You don't need that deep of a neural network to get very good OCR results, even with very bad handwriting or bad quality photos. Okay, let's take this one and do we have a material prefab here. We have the material. Yeah, we want to check this one. Generate output. Material. We're going to cache this one. So if material is not instantiated, we create a new instance, and then we copy properties, and then we return it. Pretty straightforward. And then we do is compatible with input. This one doesn't have any input, so we're just going to return false. Is compatible with output. Material. Can input if type is, actually this one is also going to return false. Can output material. And then try get output if t is material. One sec, we can fix this one, right? Let's see here. Try get, no we can't. We're gonna do it like this. If it's type of material, generate output. I think if we just make this one, we can probably make this one. Yeah, what's up, T-shirt? Pretty good name for what we're currently working on. Antonino, my boss, quote, "It would be nice to take a picture and..." Yeah, it was like, I remember that very old series strip. What the hell is the author called? KCDC, I don't know. But I mean, like, image analysis, recognition, image analysis used to be extremely hard. I mean, it's still pretty hard, but like these new tools, these neural networks Wow, they have made it so much better. Image classification, maybe it's called. But let's see here. I'm wondering if generate output here, we can probably make this one. I'm thinking of making it into a T. I think we can do it like this, actually. Generate out. Would this be weird? Let's say that we do it like this. Generate output, we change this one to object. And then we do can output T. If we can output T, then we generate output like this. And in generate output, can we do T here? Okay, we probably don't want to do this multiple times like this. We're gonna clean it up. But I'm wondering if we could do it like this. Yo, what's up, Quincy? Because then we can put this one in generation runtime node. Is this... The only problem is when we have a node that can output multiple stuff, we probably want to do some branching here. We want to check the T, but that's okay. Okay. Let's do it like this then. If this is true and this is true, and then we do some good stuff. That's when we want to do this. Else like this, isn't this way nicer? So this one is generic enough. We can put it in generation runtime node soon. I just want to double check this. So when we try and get output here, we check, can we output it? If we can, we do generate output. What the fuck? And then we do generate output ref t value. Or do we... Nah. Or... Yeah, you know what? Ref t value. Values equal to just but then we want to exit early. Fuck. I cleaned it up so nicely. Okay, back to this point. Ref t value. Bool. Return false. False. True. True. So we can't get a game object. We can't generate output. We can't get a mesh. We can't generate output. Otherwise, we find a skin mesh renderer. We generate output. But we need to set value here. So if we get to this point, right? And then here we just do return can output t and generate output t ref value. Come on. This is pretty good, isn't it? So we want to take this one. This one we want to make protected. Override. Because here we're going to do try get input. Public. Try get output, generate output. And we're going to take this one and put it here. Generate output. Can output, can input is compatible with input, is compatible with output. Try get input, try get output. Okay, that's way better, I think. So we just remove this one. We rewrite this one a bit. Oops. Okay, and then back to this one, material instantiator runtime node. So here we just do, we don't need this one anymore. Bool, or one sec. Okay, back. Sorry about that. Let's see. Generate output value. Yeah, so we just check if material, and then we do. This one always returns true. Not true, but true. We want to do value is equal to t object material. It's a lot of casting back and forth, but game object instantiator. Prefab game object. It's compatible with input, false, because it's a start node pretty much. Is compatible with output, can input game object. Can input false, can output game object. And then we want to generate it in pretty much if game object isn't instantiated, we want to instantiate it. If prefab is set in settings, we want to instantiate the prefab. If not, we just want to instantiate a new game object. And then we set this one, and then we do the value, and we return true. Good. So that's start nodes always returns true here in generate output. We're going to need to test this one before we continue later on with the graph exporter. But let's see here. Okay, now we're on dynamic mesh. This one is a little bit trickier. Because here we have some setup as well. but I think that's okay. So we want to instantiate it with the setup. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I don't want the setup like this. I don't think. No, not anymore. Is compatible with input false. So this is the one that might have input in the future, but currently it doesn't. Right? Note might have in various inputs in the future. Like, what worries me here is that we're gonna have to sometimes it might be 2 vector 3s, sometimes it might be 4, sometimes it's a float, and so on. So this is going to be one of the big problems to solve eventually. Is compatible with output, can input dynamic mesh data. Data.dynamic mesh can input false, can output generate output. Okay, beautiful. I want to create first. I want to create a yeah. We're just gonna take this one, I think. If dynamic mesh is null, generate it. Otherwise, do some shit. And here we have the generate method. We're gonna get to this one eventually. I want to remove this. So we're gonna take this one. Put it down here. Private generate. We don't have a setup right now. Do I really care about this, or can we just set this one? Maybe it's better to just do it like this. Or is that weird? Actually, it's better to have it like this, but what the fuck? Didn't even utilize the correct way to do this. There we go. Now we just need to fix this setup. And we are gonna have it here private setup. And then we want to have a constructor That's pretty much going to be the constructor for now. Okay, now I'm starting to like this runtime node system we got going on here. I was a little bit skeptical previously, but now it's actually starting to look good. Okay, 2 converters left, then we can try this one, see if it works. Wow, super easy. Actually, I want this one, I think. Okay, game object to creature runtime node. So we want game object and we want creature. Game object. Nah, we actually. Yeah, it outputs a creature. That is true. No node is probably. Or actually, we're gonna have nodes that take creatures as input because we want to generate the attributes with this graph as well. Game object, creature. Okay, generate output. We have a game object and we have a creature. We just add component like that. Okay, easy. So we do game object. Maybe we want to have a creature definition here. A creature definition is probably going to have a graph. Do we want the graph to have a creature definition as well? Maybe. Probably. Or actually, no. Fuck, we want this. Ah, okay, I see how we want to do this eventually. The graph is going to be our scriptable object, so we don't want a scriptable object. Okay. Okay, so for now, we're just going to add a creature. Do add creature options or create a creature instantiation. Oh. So generate output here, we try to get the game object. For now, I'm just going to do this. But eventually, dynamic mesh 2. Yes. Is compatible with input dynamic mesh 2 mesh. So then I think we only have one input to this one, and it's data.dynamic mesh. Is compatible with output Then we want to check for mesh. Can input. Can output. Generate output. So here we want to do data.dynamic mesh. Try get input. Okay, if we get that one, then we want to do mesh is equal to dynamic mesh dot get mesh. Beautiful. Okay, that's pretty fucking great, I think. So now I want to test this real quick. Actually, let's see if we have any compile errors. Fix those first. Okay, only in the tester, that's good. So fuck this. And then we do. Yeah, we want to calculate this. Let's see here. So let's do. We want to test all nodes, right? Nah, we don't need to test all nodes right now. We just want a very simple case that can go from start to finish, right? So we want to start with game object instantiator. Game object instantiate runtime node. Game object node is equal to new, like this. And then we have a dynamic mesh generator runtime node. We want to create a new, but here we want new dynamic setup. Fucking hell, it's long. But not setup, but we cube setup. And I think it's vector3.0. Cube setup, Oregon size. Hmm. Yo, what's up, Sam Smite? Good afternoon, good afternoon. Do I seriously not get a default constructor here with Oregon's? Ah, okay, probably not. Okay, then we have dynamic mesh generator runtime node. And then we want a dynamic mesh to mesh runtime node. We can call this one dynamic mesh generator, and here we have dynamic mesh to mesh. What more do we need? Yes, set mesh. And then we need a game object to creature. Okay, so here we create the nodes. And then we want to set up the links, so to speak. So game object. But yeah, that's true. When we add inputs and outputs, we want to add on both sides. One sec, I'm just gonna run AFK real quick. Okay, back, sorry about that. Let's see now if we can get this working. So yeah. When we add input or output, so when we add input, we actually want to add it on the input as output and the output as input, if you know what I mean. Could create a static method here where we just do link nodes. What do I want to name them? Predecessor. Wow. Cool. Let's call it start, end. So for start, add output, end. But I actually want to do this first. If start and if it can output end dot. Fuck yeah, how do we want to check this? You know what? We're gonna do it like this. Return true. So then we do generation runtime node dot link nodes dynamic mesh generator dynamic mesh to mesh. Dynamic mesh to mesh with set mesh. Game object node till to set mesh. I think. So now we have dynamic mesh to mesh. This one, this one, this one, this one. Only this one left. Generation, runtime node, link nodes, set mesh to game object to creature. And there we have it. And then finally, test result is equal to game object to creature. Yeah, what the fuck? Here we want to get the try get. Don't we have try get output creature? Something like this. Oh yeah. We want to get to this one soon. Where did we? Oh, is this an ad? Really? Huh. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't we have contains in dictionary? We're gonna look into that one soon enough. I want to see if these runtime nodes does their job, so to speak. Node system tester, here we have it. Let's see if everything crashes. Hopefully not. We get some errors. That's not good. We have a new object here though. Where do we have it? Pause. We have a new game object here with a body definition, an animator, a rigid body, attribute, and a creature. Fuck, is this the generated? Yeah, it is. Okay, we actually get a creature, but we get some errors as well. Object reference not set to instance of an object. Whoa, 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 whoa. Cube setup is a scriptable object. What? Okay, we're gonna fix that one as well. But what's the reason we chose? Yeah, we're gonna skip that. But this one worries me a bit more. And then undraw gizmos, okay. So, object reference not set to an instance of an object. Oh, creature 18. Yes. Oh. Okay. Maybe everything works. I just fucked it up a bit. So let's see here. If definition is equal to no, return. Undraw gizmos definition. Okay. And then we had one other issue. Yeah, cube setup. We don't instantiate the correct way because it's actually a scriptable object for some reason. We're gonna change that. So what kind of open the game object? Yeah, I don't know. Antonino, I found a solution. Oh, nice. Oh, so you're gonna read the barcode instead of reading the text. Oh, that's pretty good. What library are you gonna use to read the barcode? If you don't mind me asking. So let's jump to dynamic mesh generator. And setup here, we remove the scriptable object. And hopefully everything will work this time around. Okay. It didn't. Animate entity. Action handler. Yeah, okay, we have so many problems this time around. When we generate a creature. Okay, we're gonna have to fix this. So previously all my creatures were added by prefab or fixed by prefab. But now when we add them like this, we get a lot of problems. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna get to that eventually. It's not that important right now. I don't care about the creature problems. So I'm just gonna remove these. And here we're gonna do game object. Set mesh, try get output game object. Let's just see if we can get some mesh output or game object with a mesh. Antonino JSQR should be good. Oh, might check it out later. Okay, it doesn't have a mesh renderer. Bam. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. This way of doing the nodes works. Beautiful. That is great. I want to add a to-do here. Or creature. Okay. Although this one I probably would like to in this case I probably just want to do instead of having a link nodes like this, we're gonna keep this one, but I'm wondering if it would be better to do bool link. Is that the correct term? Maybe we'll see. So if it fails, input dot add output this, isn't it? So we add this one as input to this node, which means that the output of this node should be this. Right? Add input. Yeah. So now we can link nodes by this, but we can also link it by this. I want to try that one actually. So dynamic mesh generator, add output, dynamic mesh to mesh, link. Dynamic mesh to mesh, add output, set mesh, link. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. This also means that we can skip all of this shit. Now, since the nodes are way more anonymous, like the input and outputs nodes are way more anonymous, we just define them as generation runtime node. Then we can pretty much link them however we want in this one. So when we build the runtime graph here. Okay, we had one, I mentioned one big problem previously. Fuck, I don't remember what it was. Might have been one that has multiple outputs, but that's not that big of a problem. The problem I'm more afraid of eventually is, so this one, for instance, maybe we want to have I here. Creature Sten I prefab. And maybe we want to generate between 5 and 10 Creature Sten I prefabs. So the output here is going to be a list of game objects. So if this one outputs a list, then we want this one to take a list of game objects as input. So we're going to have to implement that in some way. So generate output, we always have T here, so maybe it's not, maybe it's just a flag we set. Eventually. Maybe it's not that big of a problem, actually. And this is definitely also only a runtime issue. Yeah, we're gonna set this one up when we generate it. Okay, I think that's the two problems I'm the most scared of. What this we have done today, like making it more generic like this and anonymous, not relying on the node rules, that was one thing I was a little bit afraid of, but it worked out pretty nicely. But yeah, unfortunately, I won't have much more time today, and we're going to continue this one. Not tomorrow, unfortunately. I've got a little bit of a schedule conflict, but I will be back on Wednesday. Best way to know when I'm streaming next is just to join my Discord. But we're going to continue this one later in the week. I'm looking forward to it. I think we can ace it pretty quickly. This has gone way quicker than I first anticipated. I think we're just a little bit over 8 hours in total working on Graph Toolkit, and we pretty much has a working solution soon. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate it, and have a great rest of the day. Peace.